everyone, welcome to the last video in this series from Magical Worlds by Johanna Basford, and we are using Castle Arts gold pencils to do this final snail. So let's come in. Thank you to everyone who has been watching so far, and all to the members who've watched the members only compilation all the way through. My goodness, quite a long watch, although I've made longer, that's for sure. Now we have mushrooms today in our snail, and for the antenna, such a cute design, and I'm having a little look and a think about what colour. Now I'm wondering whether to do some blue mushrooms. We haven't used many sort of we've used blues a fair bit, but not loads. I mean, no, to be fair, there isn't that many blues in this set that are not turquoisey or really dark. Let's have a little look. I think we could probably use the cerulean blues, maybe. Let's have a little go. I'm actually going to grab the cerulean blue. Here it is. And I'm going to do this sort of tops of the mushrooms. I'm going to sharpen it a bit because I'm actually going to start with these, and they're really little. So just put some light-ish, maybe medium colour in like that. And then, because we've got these little sections, we want to make it a little bit darker on the edges and where this sort of, to sort of define these little sections. It's quite hard to do in this small. It'd be easier on the larger ones. Do the best you can, or if you can't, just fit it in. There we go. And then this one, for example, what we can do, we can come down the edge here with quite a defined line, and here, and then just gently bring the colour into the middle so that there's less in that centre area. And it not only sort of sections each bit off, but it gives it a bit of shape, which I rather like. But as I say, if it's a bit too fiddly, then just block it in. It'll still look pretty. There we go. I'm just going to continue doing the same thing on each of them. So let's do the dark bit first, and then just put a light layer in the middle. You can leave some white. These have all got a little bit of white left. It's fine. Like that. So I was counting how many pages I had left in here, because I want to get it finished before Johanna's new book comes out, which the UK edition is available for pre-order on Amazon already, and on Waterstones. But I haven't seen a US edition available on when this video goes out. Might be. So I always like to finish Johanna's book before the next one. It's just a thing that I do, and there's so many pretty pictures in here. My big dilemma with this book is which to do and which to leave for videos, you know. But I think what I'm doing is I'm looking through it and sort of thinking, nah, I'm not going to do that one as a video sort of thing, and so then I've coloured it. So I just sort of choose them bit by bit. I'm now looking to do the stems of the mushrooms, and I think I'm going to use a grey. Now the blue grey sounds like it would be perfect, but actually very brown. So I think I'm going to use the graphite, or is that, I think the graphite is actually metallic, but I think it'll be fine. So I'm going to use the graphite because it's a nice cool grey colour. I think it'll work better. Okay, it's quite shiny. I don't know if you can see it in camera. I don't know why they've put a sort of shiny pencil in this set, and the green gold is also shiny, like proper gold. I don't know why when they've got metallics, but I guess this set came out before they did their metallics, I don't know. Anyway, there we go. Now background, I'm really unsure. I was wondering whether to do like a sort of grey cloud, would be a little bit different. I'll have a think about that while I do the grass. I'm just going to do that in a permanent green, I think. Here we go. Yeah, I think I could do some grey clouds. It'd be a bit different, wouldn't it? But it needs to not look the same as the stems. But as the stems are graphite and shiny, then I guess it will. I would probably keep the cloud. Oops, I've gone over the outline. I'll probably keep the cloud a little bit lighter too than the stems, although they're not that dark. Pondering to myself as I go. I'm hoping my boys are helping each other with their work. Well, the one tends to help the one, not the other way around, but we'll see. Hoping, because they're trying to study. Now I'm going to use a slightly darker colour. I think the juniper green, just along the base of the grass, because it might be a bit darker just at the bottom. Just sort of scumble that up a little bit. I'm not going to put any into the actual blades, just a little bit along here. Just heard a train go by. There was some flooded tracks earlier, yesterday I think. There was so much rain. So let's do this grey, and then we'll finish. We'll do our snail after. So I'm going to use the argent grey. If I can find it, here we go. To start with, I'm going to use this all over in a evenish layer. It's not too important to get it perfect, but I purposely chose a more browny colour so it looks different to the stems, because they're a very cool silvery colour. If I find that the stems don't stand out enough, I can always go over them in something else. So I'm not too worried about it all. Well, not worried at all, to be honest. Okay, so we've got a sort of light warm grey background going on. You can barely see it, but that's fine. Now where are we going to go? I think the blue grey is quite a good one, and I'm going to sort of do little blobs of sort of cloud. Oh, dog barking outside, like this, going right down to the bottom. Like that. Can you even see? Maybe. Then we're going to go a tad darker. I think the warm grey is our darkest. Be a little bit careful with this because it is quite a lot darker. And I'm sort of going to put it a little bit in the middle of the bits of cloud that I've done already, just to sort of darken them a bit. A few smaller patches where we haven't got any at the minute. There we go. I think that's different. I'm not sure if it's something I would do again, but I think it's interesting anyway. Now snail, I think, needs some colour. I think we're going to need to go for a blue, to be honest. I don't want grey, and the green's too close to the body of the snail. So we used the cerulean blue earlier. We could go for something a little different. I think the ultramarine light might work. I think it's close enough to the cerulean to work. So I'm just going to put a little layer across the whole of him. Now, is this bit here shell? I think it probably is. So we may leave that. Maybe we'll do the shell grey. Now what I've observed is we've got these little lines, so what I'm going to do is use those. So I'm starting at the bottom and fading up to that line, starting harsh at that line and fading like that to give the body little sort of sections. I feel it makes it a little more interesting and just gives me something to do with it really that's a bit different to just blocking it in or whatever. There we go. So just layering up here and then less up towards the line and sort of trying to fade it right off a bit. These need to be a bit darker here. Makes quite the difference. There we go, just concentrating a bit, sorry. So here quite dark and then a bit less up here. I'm going to put a little bit of extra around the edge of the face. Such a cutie pie. Oops, out of the lines. Never mind. Right, so this piece of shell, I'm thinking maybe a darker brown. Grey, sorry, not brown. So I think I'm just going to grab this warm grey, but rather than using it gently like we did in here, use it a little bit more harshly, so sort of medium pressure. There we go, just sort of filling it all in, then thinking maybe along the bottom a tad more. There we go. Now I want a bit of white, I think. Now I didn't put any on my blackberries yesterday, and that's sometimes the colours don't bleed into white, and I had a feeling that the pinky colour that I used as my base in that page bled into white, so I didn't do any white on my blackberries, but I'm going to do some white on my mushrooms. And like I did, was it on this page? Yes, on the flowers, I'm going to go, actually no, I'm going to do it differently, just in the bottom, like that. I was going to do it up the line, but I've done that already, and I think we'll just do something a little bit different. It might not show up much because some of these are a bit white on the bottom, but hopefully you'll get a little bit. There we go. I think that's fine. I'm going to leave it there. So do you want to see the whole page? If you've coloured along, you'll know what it looks like, but if you haven't, you might want a reminder as to what it all looks like. So here we go. Now if you want to know how I did the pumpkin page on the site, on the next page, that one there's a video for that somewhere. Was sort of October time. There we go, that looks a bit better. The page is a bit flatter now. So there they all are, all a bit different to each other. Johanna's drawn them very cutely. I hope I've done them justice, but thank you so much for watching. Hoping that you have a really super day and happy colouring.